right. So in comparison to what they had prior as they started the season off to what they ended up with now, what is the reality, do you think, that abundant amount of changes put a divot in the cost cap that they're trying to stay under for this season?
It's been said in the past that, Mercedes isn't really back until its rivals start, alleging that they're going to break the cost cap by their changes. And I think that's kind of where we are. So as if you were looking for what's the best possible indicator of what Mercedes' form actually is, it's when their rivals start complaining about it. So that's a good indication. But no, I mean, Mercedes has been incredibly frugal and incredibly sort of judicious with their cost cap expenditures in the past. Not only have they used as many parts over and over as possible, instead of building new parts, they will heavily and extensively modify existing parts. And in fact, last year we could see where they would move, for example, the front wing end plate has a dive plane on it. They moved it down slightly so that we could actually, it was a performance benefit, but you could actually see the scars of where it used to be. You could tell it was exactly the same wing. And so they're very experienced and they're very talented at making sure that they're stretching their dollar as much as they can. And I expect that the changes that they made to make the W14B effectively were extreme, not only on the aero side and modifying the engine cover and the side pods, but all of the mechanical internals underneath. I mean, as you might imagine, the zero pod design requires some extreme cooling solutions, not only in terms of where the radiators are placed and the duct work, but also just mechanically, just actually, putting it in a place where it actually makes sense. And they had to completely sort of redesign that cooling system for the current setup. So that's part of the reason why it took so long to actually be fielded and come onto the track. But I think probably the biggest thing is, I like Toto Wolff's way of describing this. Okay. Even if the engineers can't explain in precise language why the zero pod concept wasn't really working the way they wanted to, going to a more traditional side pod eliminates variables. At a minimum, if something is inherently wrong there, even if you can't explain it today, if it's holding you back, changing the side pod to a more conventional design allows you to actually start and say, hey, that's not the problem. Whatever the problem is with our car, that's not it. And then maybe, later on, once you have a very good handle on the rest of the car's performance and its characteristics, maybe you can explore some other more inventive options with side pods. But right now, given that they're trying to move forward, it just made the most sense to go to something more conventional.